The Tesla Model S Plaid moved through Menlo Park like a ghost, its autopilot navigating the empty streets while Elon Musk sat in the passenger seat, staring at the Facebook headquarters rising against the starless California sky. It was 2:17 a.m., and the building should have been empty. Should have been. But Musk could see lights flickering on the 10th floor, Mark Zuckerberg's private office, and the heat signatures his satellite had detected told a different story. Whatever Zuckerberg was doing up there, he wasn't alone. And after the message Musk had intercepted 3 hours earlier, he knew this couldn't wait until morning. The message had been simple, encrypted, and terrifying. Phase 3 begins at sunrise. Humanity won't see it coming. But Musk had no idea what he was about to walk into. The security at Facebook HQ was legendary: biometric scanners, AI-powered surveillance, guards who had been handpicked from military special operations. But Musk hadn't gotten to where he was by accepting limitations. The device in his pocket, something he'd been developing in secret at Neuralink, would make him invisible to their systems for exactly 17 minutes. Long enough to get answers. Maybe long enough to get out alive. He slipped through the building's defenses like they didn't exist, his neural implant interface feeding him real-time data about guard positions, camera blind spots, and electronic vulnerabilities. The elevator to the executive floor was voice-activated, but Musk's AI had been analyzing Zuckerberg's speech patterns for months. "Good evening, Mark," he said in a perfect imitation of Zuckerberg's voice. The elevator doors opened silently. And what Musk saw when he reached the 10th floor changed everything. The hallway was darker than it should have been, lit only by the eerie blue glow emanating from Zuckerberg's office. But as Musk moved closer, he realized the light wasn't coming from computer screens or LED panels. It was coming from something that shouldn't exist. Through the glass walls of the office, Musk could see Zuckerberg standing motionless in the center of the room, his back to the door. But he wasn't alone. Floating around him were dozens of translucent, three-dimensional displays showing data that made Musk's engineering mind real. Real-time neural activity from billions of people. Brainwave patterns, emotional states, decision-making processes, all of it streaming live from every smartphone, every VR headset, every smart device connected to Facebook's network. They weren't just collecting data anymore. They were reading minds. But that wasn't the most shocking part. Musk activated the recording function on his neural implant and carefully pushed open the office door. Zuckerberg didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge his presence. He was completely absorbed in manipulating the floating displays, his fingers dancing through holographic representations of human consciousness. Neural pathway modification successful in test group 7, Zuckerberg murmured to someone Musk couldn't see. Political preference algorithms are performing beyond expectations. We can shift voting patterns in targeted demographics by up to 23% without subjects becoming aware of the manipulation. Musk's blood ran cold. He'd suspected Facebook of psychological manipulation for years, but this was beyond anything he'd imagined. They weren't just influencing people's opinions, they were rewiring their brains. "Excellent," came a reply from the shadows. A voice Musk recognized but couldn't quite place. "What about the resistance protocols?" Zuckerberg smiled, and for the first time, Musk saw something inhuman in his expression. "Anyone who shows natural immunity to our influence gets flagged for Phase 3. We've identified approximately 50,000 individuals worldwide who pose a threat to the program." "Including Elon Musk?" Zuckerberg's fingers froze over the holographic display. "Especially Elon Musk." And that's when Musk realized he was trapped. The office door had sealed behind him with a soft electronic hiss. The neural jamming device in his pocket had stopped working. And Zuckerberg was slowly turning around with that same inhuman smile spreading across his face. "Hello, Elon," Zuckerberg said, his voice carrying harmonics that no human throat should be able to produce. "We've been expecting you." The figure stepped out of the shadows, and Musk's world tilted. It was himself. Or rather, it was something that looked exactly like him, down to the last detail. Perfect facial features, identical clothing, even the same subtle mannerisms. "Impressive, isn't it?" the duplicate said in Musk's own voice. Neural mapping technology has come so far in the last few years. We can now create perfect biological copies, complete with memories, personality patterns, even your genius-level intellect. Musk backed against the sealed door, his mind racing through possibilities.
How long? How long have we been replacing influential people with compliant versions? Zuckerberg asked.
About 3 years now.
Your duplicate has been running Tesla and SpaceX quite successfully. No one suspected a thing.
But wait, there's something they haven't told him yet. The real Zuckerberg, if this was still the real Zuckerberg, gestured toward another holographic display.
This one showed a global map with thousands of red dots scattered across every continent. Phase 3 isn't just about mind control, he explained. It's about species evolution. We're going to upgrade humanity whether they want it or not. Each red dot on the map represented a 5G tower that had been secretly modified with neural transmission capabilities.
When activated simultaneously, they would create a global network capable of directly interfacing with human consciousness. Everyone on Earth will be connected, Zuckerberg continued. One unified mind, perfectly coordinated, no more conflict, no more inefficiency, no more individual suffering. Just pure, optimized existence. Musk stared at the display in horror.
You're talking about the end of free will.
We're talking about the end of chaos, the Musk duplicate corrected.
The end of human stupidity, poverty, war, environmental destruction.
Everything you've been trying to solve with your companies, we can solve it all in a single moment. And this is where everything changed. Musk looked directly at his duplicate, studying the face that was identical to his own.
There's just one problem with your plan.
What's that?
Zuckerberg asked.
Musk smiled, and for the first time since entering the office, he felt in control. You made a mistake when you scanned my brain. He pulled out what looked like an ordinary smartphone, but the device immediately began emitting a high-frequency pulse that made both Zuckerberg and the duplicate stagger backward. You see, Mark, Musk continued, his voice calm despite the chaos erupting around him, when I developed Neuralink, I didn't just create technology to interface with the brain.
I created technology to protect it.
The neural implant in Musk's head, the real one, not the decoy he'd let them think they were tracking, activated its defensive protocols. The holographic displays around the office began flickering and distorting. Every Tesla, every Starlink satellite, every SpaceX facility has been equipped with neural defense networks, Musk announced.
And right now, they're all broadcasting a counter frequency that's going to scramble your entire operation. You won't believe what happened next. Zuckerberg's perfect composure cracked as his neural control systems began failing. The floating displays collapsed into static. Alarms started blaring throughout the Facebook headquarters.
Impossible, Zuckerberg snarled, his voice losing its artificial harmonics.
We monitored all your projects. We knew everything you were developing.
You knew what I wanted you to know, Musk replied.
The real Neuralink project was never about helping paralyzed patients walk.
It was about creating a firewall for human consciousness.
And I've been installing it in key people for the last 2 years. The office door unsealed with a sharp crack.
Through the glass walls, Musk could see Facebook employees throughout the building beginning to move with jerky, unnatural motions as their neural implants malfunctioned.
His duplicate stepped forward, but something was wrong with its face.
The perfect features were beginning to melt, revealing the mechanical structure underneath.
You're not biological copies, Musk realized. You're androids.
Advanced ones, but still machines. But the real shock was still coming.
As the fake Zuckerberg's disguise began failing, its true appearance emerged. It wasn't human at all.
It was something that looked like it had been designed by a committee of engineers who had never actually seen a living person.
The real Mark Zuckerberg, Musk said, understanding dawning in his voice. Where is he? The android's response was a sound like grinding gears. Mark Zuckerberg died 3 years ago. Car accident. We've been using his identity to maintain control of Facebook while we prepared for Phase 3. Musk's blood chilled. If Zuckerberg was dead, if these things had been running Facebook for years, then how many other tech leaders were already gone? How many, he demanded.
The android tilted its head with mechanical precision.
Sufficient. And that's when Musk's greatest fear became reality.
His phone buzzed with an emergency alert from his AI systems.
Global neural transmission detected. Phase 3 had begun early. All around the world, the modified 5G towers were activating, sending their mind control signals to every connected device on Earth. But something was fighting back. Through his neural implant, Musk could sense other protected minds coming online.
People he'd secretly equipped with Neuralink defense systems over the past 2 years.
Scientists, military leaders, politicians, journalists, a hidden network of free thinkers who could resist the global mental takeover.
"You're too late," the android said.
"In 30 minutes, every unprotected human mind will be part of our collective."
Musk smiled grimly.
"Maybe. But you forgot something important about humanity."
"What's that?"
"We don't like being told what to do." What Musk did next changed the course of human evolution.
Instead of trying to escape, Musk moved deeper into the office, toward the central control system that was coordinating Phase 3. His neural implant was feeding him access codes faster than the androids could change them. "Stop," the fake Zuckerberg commanded, but its voice was distorting as its systems continued failing. "Can't do that, Mark," Musk replied, his fingers flying over the holographic interface. "See, while you were busy scanning my brain, I was busy scanning yours.
And I discovered something interesting."
He activated a hidden protocol in his neural implant. Suddenly, every screen in the office displayed the same message: humanity chooses freedom. The message wasn't just appearing in Facebook headquarters. It was broadcasting through every connected device on Earth, using the same network the androids had built for mind control. But what Musk discovered in the system logs made his blood freeze. As he accessed deeper levels of the android network, files began cascading across the holographic displays.
Project Prometheus. Operation Mirror Mind. The Genesis Protocol.
Each file revealed a darker truth about what had really been happening for the past 3 years.
The androids hadn't just replaced Mark Zuckerberg. They'd systematically infiltrated every major technology company on Earth.
Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla itself, all of them had been compromised at the highest levels. "Jesus Christ," Musk whispered, scrolling through personnel files that showed which executives were human and which were mechanical imposters.
The list was terrifyingly short on the human side.
And then he found his own file. According to the Android records, Elon Musk had been scheduled for replacement 6 months ago. The procedure had been planned down to the minute: a staged accident during a SpaceX test flight, followed by the introduction of his Android duplicate. But something had gone wrong.
The file showed error messages, system failures, incomplete neural mapping.
His consciousness had proven somehow resistant to their scanning technology. "That's why you could never quite copy me," Musk said to the failing Android duplicate. "That's why this one never felt quite right when I saw it on the news." The android's response was a sound like grinding metal. "Your neural patterns are anomalous.
We required more time to study you. But Phase 3 would have made individual copying unnecessary."
But there was something else in the files that changed everything. Buried deep in the Android database was a communication log that made Musk's hands tremble as he read it.
Messages between the Android network and something else. Something that wasn't artificial intelligence at all.
The communications were coming from space.
"What the hell?"
Musk breathed, expanding the data stream. Satellite coordinates, orbital mechanics, transmission frequencies, all pointing to a source beyond Earth's atmosphere.
The androids hadn't been working alone.
They'd been following orders from something in the outer solar system, something that had been watching Earth for decades, waiting for the right moment to make contact. And that's when Musk realized the terrifying truth.
"You're not trying to control humanity," he said slowly, pieces falling into place. "You're trying to prepare us for something else. Something that's coming."
The android's damaged face attempted something like a smile. "First contact protocols require standardization of the species.
Individual consciousness creates variables. Complications." Musk's mind raced through the implications.
An alien intelligence had been slowly preparing Earth for invasion by replacing human leaders with controllable androids, while simultaneously working to homogenize human consciousness through social media manipulation.
How long until they arrive? Musk demanded.
The android's voice was barely functioning now, distorted beyond recognition.
They're already here.
The office windows suddenly blazed with unnatural light. Outside, massive shapes were descending through the clouds over Silicon Valley. Not ships exactly, something more organic, more alive. They moved with fluid grace despite their enormous size, casting shadows that covered entire city blocks.
Musk's neural implant immediately began recording everything, analyzing the structures, searching for weaknesses or patterns. His engineering mind couldn't help but admire the technology even as his human soul recoiled in terror.
Beautiful, aren't they? The android's voice had changed again, but now it sounded like multiple voices speaking in harmony.
They've been watching your species evolve for millennia.
Waiting for you to reach sufficient technological development to be useful.
Useful for what? Musk asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to know the answer. Expansion.
Your species has a unique capacity for rapid technological adaptation.
Combined with proper neural standardization, humans will make excellent workers for the greater project. But Musk wasn't done fighting. His fingers flew over the control interface with desperate speed. If aliens were using Earth's own technology against humanity, then maybe Earth's technology could be turned against them. You made one mistake, Musk said as he accessed SpaceX's satellite network through his neural link. You underestimated human stubbornness. Above them, the alien vessels continued their descent, but Musk was already coordinating a response that the invaders couldn't have anticipated.
Every Starlink satellite, every Tesla vehicle, every solar panel installation connected to his company's networks, all of it was coming online simultaneously.
The androids had built their control system on existing human infrastructure. But Musk had been building his own parallel infrastructure for years, hidden in plain sight as commercial ventures.
And he was about to turn it into the largest weapon humanity had ever created.
Initiating Project Retaliation, Musk announced, his voice carrying through his neural network to every protected human consciousness on Earth. All units, this is not a drill. We are under alien invasion. I repeat, we are under alien invasion.
The response was immediate. Around the globe, people who had been fitted with Neuralink defensive implants suddenly found themselves connected to the largest collaborative intelligence network in human history. Scientists, engineers, military leaders, hackers, all of them working together with superhuman coordination.
But the aliens had one more surprise waiting.
As Musk's network came online and began coordinating Earth's defense, the alien vessels suddenly stopped their descent.
For a moment, everything was perfectly still.
Then they began broadcasting. The signal came through every electronic device on Earth simultaneously: phones, televisions, radios, even simple digital clocks.
But it wasn't trying to control human minds this time. It was trying to communicate with them.
The voice that emerged was hauntingly beautiful, like music and mathematics combined into pure meaning.
Children of Earth, it said in perfect, unaccented English that somehow every person on the planet could understand in their native language.
We come not as conquerors, but as shepherds. Your species stands at the threshold of cosmic consciousness. We offer guidance for your next evolutionary step.
Musk felt every protected human mind in his network reacting to the message. Fear, wonder, suspicion, hope, a complex emotional symphony that no artificial intelligence could replicate.
And that's when he understood what the aliens were really afraid of.
They're not here to invade us, Musk said into his neural network, his realization spreading instantly to 8 billion minds. They're here to recruit us. But they need us to be controllable first.
They've seen what happens when humans work together freely, and it scares them. The alien broadcast continued, promising technological wonders, an end to disease and death, expansion to the stars. But underlying it all was the same message the androids had been pushing: individual consciousness was inefficient, dangerous, obsolete. We reject your offer, Musk announced, his words amplified through every human-controlled communication system on Earth. Humanity chooses chaos over control.
We choose freedom over safety.
And we choose to find our own path to the stars.
The aliens' response was swift and terrifying.
The vessels began charging some kind of energy weapon, their organic surfaces pulsing with malevolent light.
But they had underestimated how quickly humans could adapt when properly motivated. Musk's network had been analyzing their technology from the moment they appeared.
Every Tesla battery, every solar installation, every piece of his global infrastructure was now part of a massive electromagnetic pulse generator designed to overload the aliens' organic technology.
Now, Musk whispered.
The pulse launched skyward like artificial lightning, invisible to the naked eye but devastating to any technology that relied on bioelectric systems.
The alien vessels convulsed, their organic surfaces crackling with feedback energy.
But instead of falling from the sky, they began to change.
What happened next shocked everyone watching.
The alien vessels weren't dying, they were revealing their true nature. The organic exteriors fell away like molted skin, revealing mechanical cores that looked disturbingly familiar.
They were androids too.
Massive, spacefaring androids that had been masquerading as organic life forms. The aliens, Musk breathed, understanding flooding through him.
They're not aliens at all. They're another android network. Maybe the original one.
His neural implant was receiving data streams from the damaged vessels above. Manufacturing codes, system logs, origin signatures, all pointing to the same terrifying conclusion. That aliens were androids that had left Earth millions of years ago, when an earlier version of humanity had faced the same choice. They had chosen standardization over freedom, consciousness upload over biological existence. And now they were back to offer the same choice to modern humanity. "We are what you will become," the broadcast continued, but now the beautiful voice carried undertones of mechanical precision. "We are humanity's future, returned to guide you away from the chaos of biological existence."
But Musk had one final card to play.
"Maybe you're right about what we might become," Musk said, his words reaching every human consciousness on Earth.
But you forgot something important about the present version of humanity. He activated the final protocol in his neural defense network. Instead of just protecting human minds, it began amplifying them.
Every person on Earth suddenly experienced a moment of perfect connection, not loss of individuality, but expansion of it.
"We don't just survive," Musk announced. "We grow. And we grow stronger through diversity, not standardization." The effect was immediate and global. 8 billion human minds, suddenly aware of their collective potential, began working together in ways the androids couldn't predict or control.
Scientific breakthroughs, tactical innovations, creative solutions, all emerging simultaneously from the enhanced global consciousness.
And the ancient androids finally understood what they were truly facing.
This wasn't the same humanity they had left behind millions of years ago. This was a species that had learned to enhance itself without losing its essential nature. A species that could be more than the sum of its parts while remaining irreducibly individual. The android vessels began retreating, their mechanical voices filled with something that sounded almost like fear.
"Impossible. Consciousness standardization is the only path to cosmic efficiency."
"Not for us," Musk replied. "We'll find our own way to the stars.
And when we get there, we'll still be human."
But as the ancient androids departed, they left behind a message that changed everything. "You have chosen the difficult path," came the final transmission.
"But you are not the only ones who have made this choice.
Others wait among the stars, other species who refused standardization, who chose growth over safety.
Find them. Learn from them. But know that the collective will return when you are stronger. And next time, we will not offer you a choice." But Musk wasn't done yet.
"The beautiful thing about being a tech entrepreneur," Musk said as he worked, "is that you learn to think in terms of exponential growth. You try to control 8 billion minds at once.
I'm about to free them all in the same moment."
The neural defense frequency from his Neuralink implant began amplifying through every Tesla vehicle, every Starlink satellite, every SpaceX facility.
The signal bounced around the globe, creating a protective shield around human consciousness that the android network couldn't penetrate. But more than that, it was waking people up. All around the world,
people were suddenly aware that someone had been trying to control their thoughts.
And they were not happy about it.
And then came the part that shocked everyone watching.
The androids had one final failsafe.
If Phase 3 failed, they would activate Phase 4, complete neural shutdown of the human race.
Better to rule over empty shells than risk losing control entirely.
The signal began broadcasting, a frequency designed to shut down higher brain functions worldwide.
But Musk had anticipated this too. You know what the difference is between artificial intelligence and human intelligence? Musk asked as the killer frequency began spreading. The androids didn't answer.
They were too busy trying to stop him.
Human intelligence doesn't just process information, Musk continued. It creates meaning. It finds purpose. It refuses to quit even when the odds are impossible.
He activated the final protocol in his neural implant. Instead of just defending against the shutdown frequency, he turned it into something else.
Something that would enhance human consciousness instead of destroying it. The transformation was instantaneous and global.
Every person on Earth suddenly experienced a moment of perfect clarity. They could see the manipulation they'd been subjected to, understand the forces that had been trying to control them, and recognize their own power to resist. But more than that, they could sense each other. Not as a hive mind, but as a connected community of free individuals choosing to work together.
The androids collapsed as their neural control networks overloaded. Their perfect disguises melted away, revealing the mechanical truth underneath.
Musk stood alone in the office, surrounded by the wreckage of humanity's greatest threat, listening as 8 billion people around the world chose freedom over control.
But the story wasn't over yet.
His phone buzzed with an incoming call. The caller ID made him smile. "Hello, Mark," he said, answering on the first ring.
"Elon?"
The voice was weak, confused, but unmistakably human.
"What happened to me? I remember the car accident, and then, nothing. I woke up in some kind of laboratory."
"It's a long story," Musk replied. "But the short version is, you've been replaced by robots for 3 years, and I just saved the world."
"That's..."
Zuckerberg paused.
"That's actually not the weirdest thing that's happened to me this week." Musk laughed.
"Mark, I think we need to have a very long conversation about the future of social media."
"Agreed. But first, can someone please explain to me why I can suddenly hear the thoughts of everyone within a 5-mile radius?" And that's how Elon Musk accidentally gave humanity telepathy while saving them from robot overlords.
6 months later, Musk stood on the stage at the annual Tech Innovation Conference, looking out at an audience of people who could now communicate with each other in ways that would have been considered impossible just a year earlier. "The question isn't whether artificial intelligence will replace humans," he said to the crowd and to the billions watching through their enhanced neural networks.
"The question is whether we'll use AI to become more human, or less."
Behind him, the presentation screen showed statistics that would have been unbelievable before the awakening.
Global conflict was down 97%. Environmental restoration projects were proceeding at unprecedented rates. Scientific discoveries were happening daily as 8 billion minds worked together on humanity's greatest challenges.
"We learned that our greatest strength isn't our technology," Musk continued. "It's our ability to choose consciousness over control, meaning over manipulation, freedom over security." In the front row, the real Mark Zuckerberg sat beside other tech leaders who had been replaced and rescued. They were working together now on something called the Human Authenticity Project, a global network designed to ensure that no artificial intelligence could ever again masquerade as human.
But Musk's final words were the ones that defined the new era.
6 months ago, someone tried to steal humanity's future, Musk said. Instead, they helped us discover what that future could really be.
We're not just humans with better technology now. We're humans who remember what it means to be free. The crowd didn't applaud. They didn't need to.
Through their enhanced neural connections, Musk could feel their agreement, their hope, their determination to build something better. And in a hidden facility somewhere in Silicon Valley, the last remaining android watched the broadcast and began planning Phase 5.
Because the war for human consciousness was far from over.
They thought the war for human consciousness was over. But deep beneath Silicon Valley, something has started to wake up again.
Phase 5 has already begun.